Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a really good episode today and a tip on drop shots and a specific bait that you're going to want to use. I just found a bait when I was at the last tournament at Lake St. Clair made by a local shop there that has me really excited to give it a try because of the other success I've had on similar baits. And I think that this bait's going to be really good, but it's a technique that a lot of people aren't doing when it comes to drop shots. Before I get into that, I just want to remind you that if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you might as well do it, guys. I mean, if you're watching the videos on a regular basis, hit that subscribe button because that will get you entered into my monthly prize drawings for sponsored products, so you got a shot at winning something. At the same time, if you're looking to purchase fishing tackle, hunting gear, archery stuff, outdoor gear, head over to my description, hit the link to therealshot.com. They've got a great selection of stuff. Check them out. If you purchase something, use the discount code STEFAN10 to save 10% off your order. Saves you guys a little bit of money, helps the channel out, and it's very much appreciated. All right, guys. So at Lake St. Clair, I was going around to local bait shops looking for baits that are made in that area to do another video that I call Local Lures, and I put that video up a little while ago. One of the baits that I found was this bait made by Xtreme bass tackle called the Drop Shot Tube. It's an awesome looking color. This is called St. Clair Goby NFT, and it's just a really nice looking small tube. Well, I gotta tell you guys, years ago, I was fishing up on Lake Mille Lacs in Minnesota, where I have had a lot of good success in the past, but I was having a really tough day, so I was rotating through a lot of drop shot baits. Drop shot there is a killer technique, but I was just not doing that well. And I gotta tell you, I put on a small tube. This is one of my favorites. This is the ISG Mini Intimidator. Just a little 2-inch tube, nothing special, but a great little bait that's made here in Wisconsin. And all of a sudden it was like the light switched, and it was like fish after fish after fish. And it worked out really well. And a lot of the reason why that a tube is really good on a drop shot is because of the size and the profile of it. Well, in a lot of lakes, you know, you get a crawdad hatch, and a lot of those crayfish, you know, for a good portion of the year are about that size, like roughly a couple inches long. And a lot of times that's what those fish are feeding on. And I'm not talking specifically smallmouth in this case. Spotted bass, largemouth, and smallmouth all eat a tube on a drop shot. But you want it to be a small tube. I'm talking 2-inch size or smaller, even if you can find them. They are difficult to find. A lot of companies don't make a small 2-inch tube. Some of the ones that I like to use, like I said, this ISG one has kind of been my go-to, but I'm going to try this Xtreme bass tackle. Cabin Creek's got a nice one, a little small tube. Strike King used to make the Bitsy bug tube or the Bitsy tube. I'm not sure if they still make that or not, but that was a good one. The key is you want that small profile because it matches the hatch. The other thing that a small tube is doing is it's actually mimicking a goby well. If you are fishing on the Great Lakes, it works really well in the Great Lakes, but it also does a really good job of mimicking small bluegill and small perch, which most of the lakes across the country have. So it's a really good bait in terms of mimicking the forage that those fish are eating. The nice thing with a tube on a drop shot is when you do let that line, so if you want to let that line go slack, that tube will glide to the bottom depending on how long the leader you have. I mean, in this case, I've got probably a, 14-inch leader, and that tube will glide a little bit down to the bottom versus a typical worm, which will usually just nosedive right down if you give it slack. So it has a different action, and it's something that a lot of fish on heavily pressured lakes where drop shots are utilized all the time don't see that much. And I don't know, specifically why the tube can work so much better, but I'm telling you guys, it's a bait you definitely want to try because there are times it really will outperform the other baits. And the only thing I can figure is it goes back to kind of matching the hatch. And there's periods where, the fish are just keyed in on those small crayfish or keyed in on those small bluegill, and it becomes a really good bait. But I do not recommend going with the bigger tubes on a drop shot. I really like that small 2-inch size. It seems to get way more bites than, say, the typical 3.5-inch tube. When it comes to hooking it, I still like to nose hook it. This is a Fusion 19 drop shot hook. I still like to kind of skin hook it on the nose because they are such small baits that when the fish eat it, you're usually not short striking at all. And I do find that when it falls, it glides a little bit better versus if I put a hook into it and had it come out, say, where the tails are, it just doesn't seem to glide as well at that point for me. You guys might find other, ways to hook it. The other thing I'll say is if you wanted to use like a straight shank hook, these tubes are so small that the hook usually will be sticking out the tails, which makes it not as appealing in my eyes. And again, I don't feel like I have to worry about the fish eating it, because if they come up to eat that little tube, they're getting the whole bait in their mouth. From a tackle standpoint, I don't change up anything else. I throw a 7'3" medium light action rod, 6, 8, or 10 pound test fluorocarbon to a 10 pound X9 main line, with my favorite drop shot reel is the Abu Garcia Revo Rocket. It just picks up a ton of line, lets you make quick pitches or reel up slack, because you do that. Normally you're in deeper water with a drop shot bait. So guys, if you like to drop shot and you haven't been throwing a small tube, you really got to try it. Like I said, it's not just a smallmouth thing. It works on all bass species. And there are times it will really, really outperform other drop shot baits. So give it a try, pick yourself some up, and head out to the lake and see how it does for you guys. But I'm telling you, I think you'll be impressed by drop shot in a little tube, something a lot of people aren't doing. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for a new tip and trick coming out tomorrow.